And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bum in the Bloom, episode 294. We're talking 2026, everybody. It's time to move on. FPAS is passed. We are on to 2026. Reviews are done. We're going to talk some steamer tonight, some risers and fallers in the hitting department, according to WRC Plus. Before we get to that, though, you can follow me on Twitter at BDintric, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, and on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at RyanBHQ, Ryan Bloomfield. How we doing, my friend?
We're good, man. Busy. Working through the final leg of the baseball forecaster, which is due to the printer in a week, pretty much, by the time you're all listening to this. So we are, for forecaster folks, we are on track for that legendary day before Thanksgiving when the PDF comes out. So that's good. And then working pretty hard on the tools for 2026. We are in 2026 mode now. Working hard on the tools. I'm going to release a couple tools for Patreon folks tomorrow. The draft team tracker that we did last year, which was, if I do say so myself, I sound like an idiot, pretty popular, where you can kind of put your team in and get, projected and see where you're at with targets and balance and that sort of thing. So doing that, and then a brand new ADP tracker, which I think is going to be pretty freaking sweet. I've already kind of shown it off to the Discord folks, and they've given me feedback, and I've tweaked it a bunch, ready to release it to the masses. So that'll be out sometime on Friday. If you are a Patreon subscriber, and if you aren't, and you want to support the show, no pressure, but there's a little QR code at the bottom of our screen here. If you're listening, it's patreon.com/Bubba Bloom.
Yes, and I highly recommend it, obviously, because I'm a part of it. But since Ryan doesn't want to sound, dumb or something, the tools are pretty sweet. Tools are pretty sweet. So I've seen people I never thought I would see utilizing said tools, and that was a big thing. And yes, Burks, I just checked; it does work. I literally, as he was talking, I checked the QR code does work. So we're good there.
So fun story at first pitch. Bubba prints out 200. Was it 200 pamphlets?
Yes.
Not pamphlets. Pamphlets are little booklets. 200 flyers.
Flyers, yes.
Support the show, blah, blah, blah. Patreon gives you this. Here's the QR code to sign up. Shit's expired. So we got that fixed. Thank you, Aaron. We got that one fixed. We're ready to go.
It was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, it rocks and rolls. It works. So yeah. Come support the crew. We got a lot. Ryan's crushing it with all the tools and charts and sheets and all the stuff as usual. And we got a lot more stuff coming your way to get you ready for your drafts and into the 2026 season. So I don't think you'll regret it. And most of the people still sticking around don't either. So yeah, come join the boys. Have some fun with that. If anything, come join the Discord. It's always a good time. There's way more conversation than I would expect in November. There's some diehards in there that are pumping out some good stuff. So go check that out. We mentioned towards the end of last episode to, if you are in said Discord, to keep your eyes open for the following day for an announcement. Well, the 13 people that kept their eyes open jumped in Tuesday evening, 10 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours earlier than usual, 7 p.m. Pacific time. The episode of Bubba and the Bloom, episode 295, live Gladiator draft. We do that every year. So we're going to do one next Tuesday evening, live Gladiator. It filled rather quickly. Pretty much all Patreon people.
I think it's all 15. There may be one that's not, but it's pretty. We put the bat signal out in Discord, and it filled up within a couple hours, which again, so another perk.
All on the up and up. No one can complain about this one. We found one. We let the people know. We all filled it up. No one can complain about that one. So, yes, it's no.
Who would complain? We got a draft order out for this thing. I'm next to you again.
Yeah, there's a sandwich. There's a mat sandwich between us. But other than that, it's you and me towards the back end, like 12 and 14 or something like that.
I'm 12th. Poor Matt is 13th. You're 14th. We've got the Python Hunter 15th, and I'm not lying when I call him that.
Star. It's a different thing.
Yeah, I probably should have. Jesus, already butchered promoting this Gladiator. But yeah, tune in next Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, to see the Python Hunter.
Yes, the Python Hunter. We just need Summer from Dobson Ranch to come to the event, and we'll be good to go. But yes, it's going to be a good time. The live drafts are always fun to begin with. Plus, it's a gladiator. It's year 3 of the gladiators in NTBC. It's for those that are new to it. We'll explain much more that evening. But it's 23 round draft. Basically, you draft your starting lineup. That's it. You go to battle with what you draft, and it's a roto format. You go from there. So,
or you click hide teams after you draft the team and presumably never think about it again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at promoting this, aren't I?
No, it's all good. It'll be a blast. Hopefully, people join us in the chat.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Throw your questions out there. Yeah, I'll get right on that one and see where it goes. But with that being said, Ryan, let's get to 2026 Steamer, which has a few warts to it. We will get to as we talk on the show here. But Steamer came out about 10 days ago. And we're going to start doing some bloom boards here for the next few weeks to get ramped up. It'll be a part of the draft sheet that you made, draft tracker, for now until other projection sites come out, I believe. Yeah, so
correct.
What do you got for us tonight?
All right, so yeah, Steamer came out. I think it was the day before first pitch. So I personally, I know you just did a show with Ben on Bench with Bubba, diving into the pitcher side of it. Haven't listened yet, but I have pretty much been out of the loop on Steamer just because once you go to first pitch, everything you kind of forget about the outside world, which is a good thing. But just starting to sink my teeth back into Steamer for 2026. And for those that, I guess I should even take a further step back. Steamer is it's a long-standing projection system that's publicly available on Fangraphs. So you can go to fangraphs.com, click on projections, click on Steamer, and it is very, like I said, long-standing, reliable, stable system that's been out for quite a while. You can go download these projections and play with them to your heart's content. I include this in all the kind of draft tools that we have over on the Patreon, but that's what Steamer is. And so what I wanted to do, at least for our first show, is just kind of look at, since 2025 still a little bit in my head, I wanted to look at the hitters that are projected to improve the most versus 2025, typically guys who had down years last year, and the projection system is projecting them to improve. And then, of course, on the flip side, the 15 hitters who are projected to be worse the most in 2026. So, and the measure that we're using to determine that is this thing called WRC Plus, which is a very complicated formula of just how good you are at offense. And it's very simple to use. It doesn't depend on playing time. 100 is league average. If you're over 100, that's good. If you're under 100, it's bad. That's our general metric that we're using for offensive output to compare 25 to 26. And so that's how these names are ordered on the board that you all are viewing if you're watching on YouTube.
Yep, and the good thing about WRC Plus is in playing time projections change, which they will. That'll be a common thing we will mention. A lot of these plate appearances, games played for a lot of these guys is bad. Like literally the most playing time projected for now on Steamer is Freddie Freeman with 150 games. So that pretty much tells you everything you need to know.
Don't doubt. You saw Freddie do the worm, didn't you? That's probably what Steamer saw and put him number one projected playing time.
As I learned at FPAS, AI is a hell of a drug. So
it's not AI, man.
I wasn't there.
That's true. Can't confirm.
All I have is the video to go off of, and for a guy that can't get out of a shower, curious. Let's put it that way.
It was impressive.
He's also probably lubed up on so much booze that you could do a lot of things at that point in time. Show me the video the next day. That's what I'm more curious about. Yeah. But a lot of the playing time is not quite there. So as playing time changes, if the rates of these projections, like per plate appearance, stay the same, WRC Plus will stay the same. Yep. So just wanted to bring that up. That's why it's a good tool to use at this point in time, because like the first guy we'll talk about is projected for 125 games. And I think we can all agree, barring,
unless he gets sent to the minors,
he is known to collapse. So maybe not. They might be onto something here. He might be over projected. Or if there's a potential platoon or whatnot, then things can change. But we will start with your boy, Michael Harris II.
Swear to God, man.
Let me tell you this much. Ryan and I talk a lot. I think you guys are pretty well aware of this. We text throughout the day. Ryan sends me a text, and he just must have finished making this board for tonight's show. And he goes, "You're never gonna guess who's at the top," or something like you're just something about the top of the board. The way he phrased it. And at first I said Aaron Nola, and he's like, "No, we're doing hitters." And I said, "Oh Jesus, it's Michael Harris." And he's all, "Yep." Sends me the thumbnail for tonight's show. Michael Harris is on it. And then Ryan proceeds to say, "I need to quit fantasy baseball." I'm like, for a guy that drafts projections, you will never quit him because this is your same story every year. Right now, Michael Harris is projected for a 111 WRC plus, Ryan, that comes with 19 homers and 16 steals in all those 125 games, 500 total plate appearances. Last year, he had an 83 WRC plus. Year before, he had a 99. They have him for 111. That would be his best since 2023. I'll just leave you the floor because I think anybody that's listened to our show long enough knows my thoughts on Michael Harris II. What does this projection do for you?
The problem is, like, the more I talk about Michael Harris and the more I look at projections, I'm going to be back in. It's just, it's absolutely ridiculous. So yes, for those that haven't listened to the show for a while or whatever, Michael Harris was one of my bigger favorite buys of 2025. I think a lot of us know what Michael Harris did not do last year. However, still ended up, Bubba, with a 2020 season hitting 249. For as much crap as we all gave Michael Harris, he did have a 2020 season. The problem is, I think he got about 75% of that in like 3 to 4 weeks of the season, and the rest was just nothing. So I don't know. And the projections are back at it again. They are projecting Harris for, again, if you just look at the raw homers and steals, like you said at the top, Bubba, they're going to be low just because I think playing time universally for Steamer right now is too low. So really for all these players, take this lower homers and steals with a grain of salt. But I don't know, man. I want to actually offer analysis on Michael Harris, but it's just very difficult given the ebbs and flows of a season. You look at the end of the year, though, that the production is there. It's always been at like a decent power, 10% barrel. It's always been a decent strikeout rate, 20% K rate. He always runs. He's stolen 20 bases in 3 of the 4 seasons. It's just, do you want to really, from like a mental health standpoint, take and MH is his initials, so that's fitting. Do you want to take the good with the bad and just kind of ride this whole thing out with Michael Harris? Like I said, I'm still hurting from last year. I'll probably be in again a little bit depending on what the price is, but just thought it was hilarious that, again, the projections are very high on Michael Harris.
Well, 2 things. If you want to use Steamer 600, which gives you at least 600 plate appearances, 23 homers, 19 steals, who's basically your 2020 guy.
And it's what he does.
That's what you've always wanted. I'll tell you this much. You're talking price. Right now it's at 96. That's the same ADP.
So, like, what outfielders are around him? Because I don't know.
Same ADP as Christian Yelich, who's util only, unfortunately. But 3 picks ahead of him, if you're talking outfield only, is Tyler Soderstrom. If you go 12 picks later, you got your boy Teoscar. If you go almost 20 picks later, you got George Springer. So, yeah.
Dude, a lot of my guys here. Jesus.
Dude, like I kind of told you off there with the pitching show with Ben, there's a reason if people are using projections to start getting their rankings based on Z-scores and dollar values, you can find some very nice price tags.
Not bad. Okay. All right. 94. Count me in. Tuesday night. Harris is mine.
I love when Ryan, well, I shouldn't say he smoked me in most leagues last year, but I usually like when Ryan donates money to the cause. It's a good thing. But he had a great year last year, so I'll try to be nice. Joey Ortiz. Here's one that I don't think a lot of people probably considered in this conversation. Last season had an ADP or a WRC plus of 67, a whopping 67. Did play in 149 games, which was a bit of a surprise. 7 homers, 14 steals, hit 230. So bummer of a season. Picked it up a bit in the second half. I'll give him that. Joey Ortiz will be 27 this year. He's projected for 10 homers and 12 steals, hitting 249 with a 95 WRC plus. So Ryan, still below league average with Joey Ortiz.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing is, and why you always need to take this with context, is Joey Ortiz was like an awful hitter last year. 67 WRC plus is, is really bad. So he's projected to improve a ton, yet still be below average. I don't even know if Joey Ortiz is that good, to be honest. Basically no power. Had 7 homers last year, only 12 barrels on those 7 homers. So a little bit of a running game, but it's been a 230 hitter basically his whole career, which has just been 2 seasons. So maybe there's an avenue for growth there. But I think Joey Ortiz, if you're we are in draft and hold season right now, if you are drafting right now. And I do think the glove, the playing every day, like you mentioned, I think you said 149 games last year. That does have value, and you just never know when someone who plays every single day just runs into a hot season. Geraldo Perdomo last season, for example, somewhat out of the blue like that. So you just never know, but I don't see really any kind of indicators here that Joey Ortiz is going to take a big step forward.
Yeah, no indicators yet. People have always been high on him with multi-position flexibility and much whatnot that really haven't had that. I don't think he's going
just
to have
shortstop.
It's just shortstop this year. His ADP's 424 for an everyday player. That's decent.
And again, that's actually, and if you're in the last round of the Gladiator or something, someone who's going to play and not give you zeros, I don't know.
Yeah, that adds up. Adds up after a while.
But in shallower, and once you get to fab leagues and stuff, I don't see the ceiling here.
All right, here's one for you. Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts,
a guy
coming off a rough season, been well documented on this show. Yeah, hit 258, 20 homers, 8 steals. Like in the end, not horrible, but definitely underperformed for the second straight season from what people were expecting. Finished with a 104 WRC plus, barely league average, his worst of his career. His worst WRC plus of his entire career. He had a 107 in 2017. So it's been a massive fall for a guy that probably lost a bunch of weight. I should take his diet. But yeah, he's projected for 21 homers and 8 steals in 125 games, Ryan. 273 average, 129 WRC plus, which is nice. Just for context, if you do a Steamer 600 on him, obviously still a 129 WRC plus. Mookie Betts rates out on Steamer 600 as the 12th best hitter in projections. I'll say the 11th best hitter because for some reason there's a player that's banned from baseball at 11 right now. Just keep that in mind. Mookie Betts is projected for 22 homers, 8 steals, 88 runs, 75 ribbies, hitting 273 with a 129 WRC plus. So where are you at on Mookie Betts? He's getting older. Are you cool with that stat line? That's the 12th best hitter, but the line doesn't scream value, and you still have to pay a 30 ADP basically.
Yeah, I don't think Mookie's going to be that good, but I do think there's pretty massive rebound potential. You have to throw in the weight thing. Bubba, maybe you should fly to Japan in the spring, get gravely ill, and come back.
Must have had the blowfish, and it didn't turn out very good. You have to cut that a certain way, or you can get sick, almost kill you.
There was an interesting at FPAS. There was Saris was doing a presentation on bat speed, and actually this was during the Rates and Barrels live show. Where he had like a rolling graph of Mookie Betts' bat speed, and it was pretty obvious what the illness did to Mookie Betts, and actually how much it upticked towards the end of the season and the postseason. I know they were getting into small sample territory there, but I do think there's some power rebound potential there, not to the 35 to 39 homers that Mookie hit in 2022, 2023, but if he can get upper 20s, the batting average at 258 last year. I agree with this projection, 273, if not higher, given the baseline for Mookie Betts, given how much he puts the ball in play. The only thing, so that all checks out to me. The only thing I'm worried about, and WRC Plus does not, I don't believe, count stolen bases into its formula here for fantasy. Mookie Betts, I don't know if the stolen bases come back. We'll see. Only had 8 steals last year on only attempted 10 in 663 plate appearances. That's my only kind of thing is you might be getting like a 4.5 category player, but I don't know, man. The volume floor is super high. The team context is elite. I will likely have some Mookie Betts next year.
I guess my biggest question with Betts, especially with an ADP of around 30 right now in DC, is he's shortstop only. We talk about how elite that and top heavy that shortstop position is. He doesn't feel like he's elite and top heavy at that position. I think he needs to get back. He needs to get back to the 300. He needs to be at the top of the order, scoring 100, 10, 120 runs. If he's not going to steal bases, he's got to get back up there and do those things. to get back in
True.
the mix. Otherwise, he feels like a failed Trey Turner season or something like that.
And the discount isn't that much. Speaking of Trey Turner's the shortstop going ahead of Mookie Betts right now in recent draft champions, and right below Mookie Betts is Zach Neto, which is actually interesting ceiling floor comp. So I don't know. You're not actually getting Mookie Betts that cheap right now.
Yeah, so it's a tough buy for a guy that doesn't buy him anyways. Royce Lewis, this is a conundrum already for many in draft season. Heard his name mentioned a lot already. And I get it. 13 homers, 12 steals, played a career high 106 games, hit 237 last year with an 85 WRC plus. Royce Lewis was that guy that, when healthy, would go on barrage, doesn't get hurt in 6 days, and then go back to the IL for 2 months. So there's always optimism. He's going to be 27 this year. Steamer has him hitting 20 homers, stealing 9 bags, hitting 251 with a 108 WRC plus. And that stands out a lot to me, Ryan, because like I kind of said, people have been very, very optimistic on Royce Lewis. But projections have him just slightly above average, which makes me take a step back and go, is he as good as we thought he'd be?
I mean, so the projection is definitely taking into account Royce Lewis. Right. Well, you missed time, but like 2023's season, that's what you're kind of banking on, is like, because Mookie, Royce Lewis has, I mean, yes, the playing time is a major thing, but like Royce Lewis hasn't really been good. Like for his career as a hitter, and projected to be a 108 WRC plus. That's just, I won't say barely above league average, but it's not that great for fantasy. The interesting thing, and I still don't know what to do with this type of thing, is Royce Lewis no steals in 24, and then just pop 12 randomly in 2025 and a half season. How do you project that next year? So I don't know, man. I don't think I've ever drafted Royce Lewis. I don't really see that changing. Obviously, the price is a lot cheaper, like 177 right now. But I don't even know if the ceiling is what we thought it was when Royce Lewis had his great half year as a rookie.
Yeah, and again, people might get annoyed by the end of the show by me doing this, but sorry. This is one of those with Royce. I think if you're drafting him, you're hoping that it's the healthy season. Like, it's just the reality of the situation. So if you're thinking healthy again, like Steamer 600 has him at 26 homers and 12 steals, 80 RBIs. Like, I can stomach that, hitting 251, especially with an ADP of 177.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen. Like, I don't want to cut you off there, but like, he's not getting 600 plate. Anything could happen. I guess Byron Buxton stayed healthy.
That's my point. Anything can happen.
I don't know, man.
I agree. The track history says no, but just saying, if he does at ADP 177, this is the guy we're talking about next year as, a potential game changer in your fantasy team, especially at third base. So, just want to point that out. Maybe not a gladiator pick, but quite interested. I don't have much on O'Neal Cruz because I buried him last season, but the projections have him 237, 21 homers, 27 steals. He had an 86 WRC plus last year. It's just 108 this year, still barely above league average, and it comes down to can't even hit 237.
Yeah, we don't need. We just talked about O'Neal Cruz on the live show, so go back and listen to the first pitch show for O'Neal. But yeah, is mildly interesting that he's number 5 on the projected riser list. I do get it. Pretty much anyone coming off a bad season is going to be on this list, so it makes sense. But yeah, we've hit on O'Neal Cruz a ton.
Josh Lowe is another guy that it comes down to playing time. Like, Steamer has him 14 homers, 18 steals for a 101 WRC plus, but I want to mention him because that's in 104 games, and you're going to say the same thing you told me with Royce Lewis. I get it. But in 2023, we saw 135 games, and he went 20-32. That's probably the ceiling.
Yeah.
But Josh Lowe has also talked about at FPAS that there's still that blind optimism that this is a 2020 bat. Even with 104 games, he's projected for 14 and 18. It's not like it's far off type situation. I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know if you had a lot to add, but projections have him, like, if you do the whole on pace thing, he's definitely a 2020 bat. He's just got to stay healthy.
Yeah, Josh Lowe looks like Cal Ripken compared to Royce Lewis, by the way.
Your bets are coming up already.
My biggest thing with Josh Lowe is I'm worried about the power. I don't know if he's a 2020 bat. I think he's more like health aside, like a 15-35 type bat. Like, I think the stolen base upside for Josh Lowe, he's always been an elite base stealer. The power dropped off pretty dramatically last year, and maybe with the oblique injury that was in play, but it was just a 6% barrel, only 17 barrels all season last year for Josh Lowe to 11 homers. So certainly understand why Steamer's projecting a better batting average. I don't think Josh Lowe hits 220 again. I just don't know if the power bounces back that much. And I actually, I'm more optimistic on the stolen bases for Josh Lowe.
All righty. I'm going to start skipping around here, Ryan, if that's okay with you. I'm going to jump to Mark Vientos. This is a guy that basically was going to be sent to AAA, potentially like just banished for life, gets a second chance and has a great run in the second half, 17 homers, hit 233, a 97 WRC plus after a 132 WRC plus in 2024. Like the power's been undeniable. Steamers got him for 138 games, 28 home runs, 85 RBIs, hitting 246. That's not horrible. And they have him for a 115 WRC plus. So I guess it comes down to, is it enough of a boost to give it a whirl for Vientos, a guy that we know has probably like 40 home run power if he played every day, but I don't think that's going to happen. But you're talking an ADP of almost 250 with Vientos.
Yeah, this is much right. Vientos, I think, was a pretty big fade for both of us last year. Just the ADP was so high for someone who, yes, had a good season, but it was just 27 homers, 266 batting average. Granted, only 450 plate appearances in 2024. But I don't know what the power ceiling is for Vientos. Maybe it is 40, like you said. For me, it's the low batting average and there's no stolen bases there. So you're basically getting like a, I don't know, 2.5 category guy, which last year at whatever ADP Vientos was going at, he was top 100 player, I think. To me, that didn't make much sense at 177 or whatever you just said. Maybe, but it's still not that attractive of an option for me right now.
Yep, totally agree. All right. You have anything on Ozzie Albies? I was going to skip him, but at least I'll give you the chance. It's a guy that we've always said stay healthy. We got a chance, but he doesn't stay healthy anymore.
I mean, the only thing I'd say with Albies is just the on-again, off-again nature of his entire career. There have been many times in seasons past, and history is always a good teacher, where you have bought Ozzie Albies coming off a bad season and been rewarded with a $30 season. That's happened at least twice in Ozzie Albies' career. So just keep that in mind. When Ozzie's down, Ozzie's not out.
And the GOAT Ozzie just passed away. Maybe we have a tribute season here. Just throwing him
Ozzie
out.
Smith?
No, Ozzie Osbourne.
Osbourne? Jesus.
Passed away.
Ozzie Smith just died.
No, easy, Turbo. Ozzie always has an ADP of 165, by the way. All right.
Is Ozzie Smith? He's alive, right?
Yes, he is. Very much so.
He's 70. Jesus.
Looks good. The wizard looks good for 70.
Yeah.
It's a Bubba and the Bloom show, so we have to talk catcher here. Yainer Diaz. This is a guy that annoyed a lot of people last year. In the past, he's had his second half comebacks. He got back to 20 home runs and 70 ribbies this past year, but hit 250. He's been a batting average source of late, and I actually dug in on him for the Black Book the other day, so I kind of walked away still feeling pretty good about Yainer Diaz. Maybe he's not a top 5 catcher anymore, but he's easily a top 10 catcher to me, with top 5 appeal if the batting average comes back. Right now, Steamer has him for 17 homers, 58 RBIs, hitting 272 with a 109 WRC plus. That's in 108 games. He's going to play more than 108 games, barring injury, folks. He's played 143, 148 the last 2 years. So if you look at those projections, now you're talking 20. He's back to like 23, 25 homers, hitting 272. That's a really good catcher. So I just wanted to bring that up. I know the WRC plus is 109, but I wouldn't be too down on the guy.
So a couple things on Yainer. One, again, WRC plus is not a fantasy stat, so it, like I said, it doesn't weigh in stolen bases, which in Yainer Diaz's case doesn't really matter. It also weighs in walk rate, which it should if you're counting offensive production. I think that's why Yainer Diaz's WRC plus is projected so bad, is because he doesn't really walk, which if you're in traditional 5x5 fantasy, you don't really care about. It's just about batting average and the other 4 categories. So just looking at that, like, so obviously in an OBP league, points league, whatever, that low walk rate, I mean, it's a career 3.5% walk rate, which is really, really low. But yeah, everything you said about Yiner, I think is spot on. Like actually best K rate of his career last season, got better in season, and didn't really sacrifice power that much. It was still almost 10% barrel rate. League average on that is 8%, which is quite good. The only thing I'm interested in is I'm sure you saw this, but it came out yesterday. Yeah, I want to play less DH in 2026. I might believe that when I see it, but that's just something to keep an eye on where I don't know if the 600 plate appearances are still there for Yiner.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. He only played 113 games at catcher. He did spend a little time hurt. He did 23 games at DH. They showed his stats hitting a DH were horrible. Like he just sucked at it, not built to do it apparently. So I can see a healthy Yiner catching 130 games and still DH in probably 10 to 15. I wouldn't be shocked. You can't keep it out of the lineup. Now you're back to your 140 plus. But as you mentioned, like that's what I was saying. I looked at his quality of contact, his approach, all just fine. Like he's totally fine, not worried at all for one of the better catchers in fantasy baseball.
I also wonder if, and actually we might have a comment on this. Like my eyes don't really work tonight, but I wonder if that means more DH for Yordan Alvarez. I mean, that kind of has to be, right?
Like, I would hope so.
Yeah. Keep the big man, keep old Greg Oden healthy as much as possible.
Especially because they came out and said that Isak Predis' hamstring 65% healed, which I'm like, didn't he come back and play at the end of the season? Like, what are we doing here? And then they said Christian Walker is not going to be traded. He's going to be there every day first. Like, there's not a lot of room at the end. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Michael in the chat did see a blurb about that the Astros aren't thrilled with Yiner's catching. If Yordan and Paredes are healthy, I don't know if Yiner gets everyday playing time. So
they do have a young catcher in Cesar Salazar who's pretty good. So I don't think they're moving on from Yiner anytime soon. But the Astros do strange things. That's for sure.
It's an interesting, a lot of variance in terms of the playing time. I think we all can agree Yiner Diaz is a damn good hitter for fantasy.
Still better than Adley Rutschman.
Damn.
All right. The last two on this page are Matt McClain and Luis Garcia Jr. Just wanted to bring them up because Matty McClain, we know how bad the year was. Projections have him 235, 13, 13. That's in 112 games. Like we saw him go 15, 18 last year with the bad batting average. Coming off the first year back from injury, he had a 77 WRC plus, projected for 94. I think this is a guy that you can buy low on personally. But wonder if you have any thoughts on Matty McClain.
Yeah, so if you just look at 2025 in a vacuum, like not super impressive, the raw power drop, but you got to remember this guy missed an entire season, and he's young, like that is a setback. So I think 2026 is going to be a growth year for Matt McClain. Obviously, love the park, love how efficient he is on the base pass. You're not gonna see that 290 batting average from 2023 ever again for Matt McClain. Maybe someone can clip that and prove me wrong someday. There's just too many strikeouts. So it's going to be a low batting average for McClain. But I think he's got 25 potential, which is pretty enticing for me.
Yep. There's a lot of value potential in the Reds right now. These early drafts. McClain, Steer. There's a handful of them you can try to take some stabs on in the draft.
Where's McClain? McClain's at 210 right now.
210. I like that price a lot.
Second baseman around him, there really aren't many.
Yeah.
There are none left at that point. Right ahead of Bryson Stott and the aforementioned Luis Garcia Jr. I would take, him and Stott are different players, but I think I'd take McClain over both those guys. Definitely over Garcia.
Agreed. And I want to mention Garcia here just for one thing is like we talked about the platoon problems with Garcia. Well, projections have him playing 112 games. He's played 139 and 140. He's had a 525 or more plate appearances the last two seasons. So it's like another 50 plate appearances he's not getting projected for. But they have him for 15, 13, hitting 273. Last year he had a 91 WRC plus. He's projected for a 107. We're talking about an ADP of 225, where second base is so bad. Does that appeal to you at all?
No. I mean, I could go on my platoon rant again for Luis Garcia, but I won't. He's so bad against lefties that he shouldn't be playing. And if he is playing, it's very much a negative for you.
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking at the price per production at a bad position.
The price,
I think it's because you've always said in 15s you're going to have a hole. That's not a bad hole to have at 225.
Yeah, give me Matt McClain around earlier. Give me
I agree.
Bryson
I'd rather
Stott.
have Matt McClain too. I just wanted to highlight that he's actually projected to be an
Oh,
above average hitter, when McClain's below average.
you know who's after Luis Garcia at second base is the bus driver, Otto.
Yeah, and then your boy Jorge.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that lower body's going to hold up next year, but I take the Auto Man over Luis Garcia right now.
Bringing the bus
I'm
driver.
biased.
I don't hate that either. I think that's got some love to it too. Anybody else on the rising side of thing? We hit on most of them, but skipped over a couple.
Man, just brutal to see Brian Hayes on here, improving to an 83 WRC plus. That guy, man, what happened to him? Slight blind spot to me is Lars Nootbaar. A lot of really smart people have always liked Lars Nootbaar. I've never had him, so he's never really been on my radar, but I don't know how many games this teamer projection is, but 248 batting average, 13 homers, 6 steals isn't much, but the 114 WRC plus for Lars Nootbaar is really good. So the projection, at least on a per plate appearance basis for Nootbaar, and that has been an issue for him, is interesting to me.
I'm going to go back to it's the opposite of Yiner. It's the walk rate, I think, what gives him the bump. It's projected for a 12.3% walk rate. It's been 11% or better the last
huge.
5 seasons. Because if you look at his numbers, it's 13, 12, 14, 14. Those are his home runs. He had double-digit steals once. He's been banged up a ton. I'll give him that. But he's projected for 105 games. He's played 135, 109, 117, 108. So like 3 seasons, he almost hit that projection. That's my concern. I've been a Nootbaar fan too, and I first saw that, and then I looked at his page, and I'm like,
yeah, that does.
It's a pretty fair projection, weirdly enough.
And I don't want to be like too down on like guys with good walk rates. Obviously, that's a good like real baseball skill. If you run a lot, it's fine for fantasy,
Yes.
of course. It obviously gives you more run scored potential, which is nice. But like Lars Nootbaar attempted 9 steals last year and 583 plate appearances, so he's not really taking advantage of that good walk rate, which is not what you want to see just fantasy wise.
Yep, totally agree. All right, let's go to the falling side of things. So these are guys that did very well this past season, so you'd expect these names to be on here. Like the man at the top. Sorry, Ryan, we have to bring him up again. George Springer. Last year had a WRC plus of 166. I did not stutter. By far a career best. He's still projected to have a 122 WRC plus, which, folks, pretty good. Projected for 26 homers, 13 steals while hitting 260. And we said it earlier, his ADP is like 115. It just comes down to, do you believe that the 36-year-old George Springer continues to get it done?
Right. And I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, certainly not to the extent of 32 homers and a 309 batting average. Springer got talked about a ton at first pitch. Like, a 309 is not going to repeat, but career high barrel rate for George Springer, 16% barrel rate and a 19% K rate. Anytime your strikeout rate and barrel rate is like close to the same number, that's not only really good, that's elite. I always think of George Springer as this like old broken man. Plate appearances the last 4 seasons for Springer: 583, 683, 614, 586. It's been durable as well. So like, yeah, he's the biggest faller, but that doesn't, he's falling from a top 5 like overall season to
Very good one.
Yeah, to something else that's still very good. So not worried at all, really, about George Springer. Everyone knows regression's coming. The market's not stupid. It's just regress to what, and I think it'll be softer than most think.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. The DH has done wonders for George Springer. Kyle Stowers was in the middle of a great season, hitting 288, 25 homers, walking 10.5% of the time, 73 RBIs, 149 WRC plus, gets injured, never really see him again. He's projected for 114 games this year. He had 117 last year, so I think we can all say the games played is low, fair. But 20 homers, 4 steals, 109 WRC plus, 240 average, so a massive dip in the batting average compared to last season. And one thing we know projection sites do a lot, Ryan, is they use some of the previous year's numbers, like averaging them out or taking percentages. If you go off of Stowers' previous seasons, they're not great. So they can't just use all of 2025 and say it's gospel. That's part of it. So you got to kind of figure out how much of 2025 was real. And it was really good. Like, I'm not going to deny that, but that's why the projection is low. he was going to fall back anyways, but I don't know if this is a fair fallback.
Yeah, Stowers for me is tricky just because I do think, I mean, we'll see the Marlins maybe DGAF, but like Stowers is really bad against lefties. Just 1 out of his 25 homers last year was against lefties. So I just wonder if this will start to be a platoon situation in Miami, which then very much caps Kyle Stowers' overall value. But maybe they don't do it. Maybe they let him. This would be Stowers' maybe second, third full season in the majors. You just never know what's going to come of that. The super important thing with players like Stowers, and this is kind of right up your alley, Bubba, is just take projections with a grain of salt everywhere, but especially young guys who don't have much minor league track record. Like you can grow and go, veer from your projected path quite easily when you are young, just like Kyle Stowers did last year. Cut the K rate down from 35 to 27%. While hitting the ball a ton harder, barrel up from 11 to 19%. So you had a huge reduction in strikeouts, a major uptick in power. Who's to say someone in his second, third MLB season can't even replicate that or even improve upon it in year 3? So I know I'm kind of talking both sides here with Kyle Stowers, but it's a tough one for me to nail down right now on November 14th.
Yeah, part of me says he's still going to be good, but not this good, just because like a 9% or 8% gain in barrel rate with the same hard hit rate is not commonly seen. He did have a much better max EV of 4 miles per hour, which is great. But we had a 23% home run fly ball from 7.7. That's only with a 7% increase in fly ball. So it's not like he did it in a very tough ballpark to hit home runs in. So it's like, to what extent does this happen? Again, I think he'll be better than what he's shown previous seasons. I think he'll be a little worse than last season, which is probably not going out on a limb by any means. But like you mentioned it, you talked about lowering the strikeout rate, walk rate went up. Like he just wasn't swinging out of the zone. He dropped that by 4.5% or 5.5%, which is really big for a young player. Like those are things you want to see, the plate skills improving. And like called strikes at a 9.2% called, like he was seeing the zone very well. So I think he's gonna be very good. This good, no, but I think he's better than projections. I think it's somewhere in the middle. You got to meet in the middle with Kyle Stowers and go from there.
What would you bank on more, the 288 batting average or the 25 home runs from last year?
I think he's a 30+ home run guy that hits like 260.
Yeah, if not lower, in my opinion.
Like 250. But even if he hits like 250 and hits me 30+ bombs, that means he's probably close to 100 RBIs. Like, I love that as like your third, or even, I don't know where is his ADPs right here. His ADP is 122, so second or third outfielder. Like that's a good way to go. He goes a little bit after George Springer and Teoscar. Like I'd personally take him over to Teoscar at this point.
Oh, whoa! You kidding me?
Yeah, I think so. I know I might be crazy, like, but I think Teoscar's gonna keep slowing down. But maybe I'm overthinking it here.
That price and apologies, listen, like this is the first time I'm really looking at ADP, so I'm going into this completely blind. I thought Stowers would be like a 200, 220 type.
No, you got to pay for it. People, recency bias is a hell of a drug in these early drafts.
I mean, yeah, Springer and then Stowers right next to each other in ADP. I don't think that's close.
No, but like after Stowers, if you stick in the outfield, you got Andy Pages 3 picks later. I think I take Stowers, even though I love Pages. I think I take Stowers. The Law Dog at 128, I want nothing to do with.
Lou Bob.
Yeah, Lou. That's what I'm saying. It gets murky. Chandler Simpson. Like it gets rough.
Actually, a decent comp. The next one's Joe Adele, which I think is actually that's a pretty decent, like good power, middling batting average, not much speed. That's like same type of player, same type of price.
That's not bad. Britton Doyle even.
Oh, give me O'Doyle.
I'll take Doyle all day. People should know that by now. So, yeah, the Stowers price is so high, I will have no shares at this moment. That's for sure. But I think he's still a pretty damn good ball player with a ton of power. Apologies
for the Stowers slander, Dave Petrozello. I know he helped you out a ton last year, but it seems pricey.
It is pricey. What else is just hilarious is Will Smith's on this list.
Oh no, is he? Oh, there he
is. he had a 153 WRC plus last year, which is freaking insane.
Awesome.
But it's because it's not. He hit 296 with a 15% walk rate with his 17 overs in 110 games. Like the machine's broken, folks. Regression's a hell of a drug. They have him for 120 WRC plus, which is still one of his career bests. But it's at 111 games. His average drops to 253. It's because he walks a ton. That's where his love is coming from in these. If he didn't walk, he basically is Yainer Diaz. So that's your difference between the two. Oh yeah, I will stand by that all day long. So Will Smith's on the chart. I've said my piece. I think he's a very good hitter. I've admitted to that in years past. His playing time just sucks, and that worries me tremendously. And his ADP is 116, and literally goes 8 picks before Yainer Diaz, which is kind of funny.
I was just looking that up. Yep.
And 9 picks after Drake Baldwin. I take Baldwin over him for sure. So, yeah, I know you're the Will Smith guy. I'm probably not going to roster much Will Smith ever.
I mean, yeah. What else is new? The sky is blue.
Yeah. Yep. It's great today.
Can we do? It's not going to be blue for you for very long.
We are not doing beer bets right now. No, we are not doing beer bets.
Come on. When can we start beer bets?
When I start drinking them on our shows. Not yet. It's not happening yet.
Yeah, man. All right. I'll keep asking every episode.
Well, let me get deeper into draft season and let ADP kind of shake out a little bit. Then we'll get into it.
All right. Yeah, usually it's like position preview time when we start doing that.
Yeah.
January.
Anything else on Will Smith besides my slander?
Great hitter.
Jeez, that's all you got after all of that?
Game 7 winning home run. Great hitter. He's the man.
All right, we're going to skip Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh because I think we all expect the normal projections to say, Aaron Judge, you're dropping from a 204 WRC plus to a 171 WRC plus. Yeah, you stink. Raleigh 161. See, this is where it's broken. Raleigh a 129 WRC plus, barely above Will Smith. Like, get out of here. But let's go on to Ramon Laureano, who the Padres picked up the option, which I thought was really good because that means we should see Laureano back in the lineup quite a bit. Laureano last year in 132 games was a career high, by the way, 24 home runs and 7 steals, while hitting 281, which is the second best of his career. Laureano will be 31. He's projected for 17 homers, 7 steals, and a 242 average. Last year had a career high 138 WRC plus, projected for a 106 WRC plus, Ryan. But this is in 104 games. The WRC plus stays the same. We've established. But overall thoughts on Laureano is I love taking the over on this projection.
I think so too. I mean, so everything that I've said this before on the show, this is the toughest type of projection for me out there is you have this established dude who we think we know who he is. And then all of a sudden, like in his early 30s, he spikes some pretty much out of nowhere, totally skill supported one season. And it's always, and I should probably do a study on this, but I don't know if there's, I'd be interested to see and how often what does that repeat look like? What does that encore look like for this type of player who just kind of randomly breaks out in his early 30s? That I should write that down if I had a notebook. Can you write it down, Bubba? You got a notebook.
What's the backup season after a randomly breakout in the 30s?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Because Laureano, 14% barrel rates, K rate was the best of his career, had the playing time, like everything came together at once. And so if you're just looking at last year's stats, it's like, of course, Ramon Laureano, you're going to take the over on this projection, but that's what projection systems are for, is they don't just look at 1 year. The flip side, the obvious flip side to Ramon Laureano is he'd never hit over 15 home runs in a season since before COVID times. Doesn't stay healthy, and you're gonna bank on this kind of one outlier season to repeat or near repeat. It could happen. I'm just saying it hasn't happened the previous 6 seasons. So Ramon Laureano could very well have changed. Again, the skill support what he did last year. This is why, again, I'm kind of talking out both sides here. It's the toughest type of projection for me to make. I don't know what to make of it.
The bright side is his ADP is 254.
That's very palatable.
That's tasty.
Yeah.
Like that'll play.
And that's the thing. Like if it's this situation and you have to pay like 120 price, There's too much risk there. If Ramon Laureano goes belly up at 250, like, yeah, it sucks, but doesn't kill you. And all Ramon Laureano has to do next year is do like 80% of what he did in 25, and he's already crushed a 250 ADP. So I like that. I like that price where he's at right now.
Nick Kurtz projected for a 140 WRC plus after a 170. More importantly, though, he's projected for 109 games and 31 homers, 77 runs, and 71 RBIs. So take the over on that, barring a colossal injury, and reap the benefits.
Yeah, and this is really just Kurtz gets talked about on like every show. So really, my angle with Kurtz is take these steamer projections with a grain of salt. Like you said, 109 games for Nick Kurtz. If you're drafting just off of like projections right now, Nick Kurtz is like extremely low in I had the projection, where is it at? Hold on one sec. No, we got a little bit of dead air, but like I thought the tool I'm building right now is broken just because Nick Kurtz was so low in the rankings by Steamer, but that's because it's only like 480 plate appearances, not even at bats, plate appearances. If you just go by Steamer in terms of the rankings for next year, at least on the sheet that I'm working on right now, Nick Kurtz is the 53rd hitter projected, which to me again makes no sense. So just take that playing time with a grain of salt and bump up Nick Kurtz. I don't know what he's gonna do on an encore. I'm not in at the whatever 16 ADP or whatever he's at. We'll I'm sure have plenty of time to debate that and some of the alternatives at that price. But just know the projection for him right now is really bad playing time wise.
It's very, very bad. One that's quite surprising to me is Jonathan Aranda. Last year played 106 games, a lot of injuries, 14 homers, hit 316. Very impressive season for his 140 WRC plus. Projected for 104 games in 2026, 16 homers, 263. So a massive dip in batting average, but still high walk rate, decent power, 120 WRC plus. So my question is, the WRC plus is still very good. Power is not bad on a per game basis, I guess. Average takes a massive hit. I guess it's more of we've never seen a real season out of Jonathan Aranda. So do you believe the projection and that's what we're going to get, or is there another level to him?
It could very well be another level, though he is somewhat old for not having played a full MLB season at 27 years old. He'll be age 28 next year. That's getting up there. But big change in Aranda's batted ball profile last year. He had constantly been a 50% ground ball rate guy, which if you're not fast, like Aranda, I assume is not. Maybe he is, but he's never stolen a base in his career. So I will assume my guy is not fast. You don't want a 50% ground ball rate. Lowered that to 38% in 2025. So many more line drives, more fly balls for Aranda. Like that. That's what you want. And did so with, I don't know, middling strikeout rate and good power. So I like Aranda. I don't know the price yet. You look at with the Rays, I'm always gonna look at home road splits for someone like this, just with the park change. And it's interesting. Aranda might be that guy who just has a ton of power, and it doesn't really matter where it plays. Only had 4 home runs at home, 10 on the road last year, which is a little bit backwards of what you would think for a left-handed hitter at Steinbrenner Field last year.
Yeah, no, it was impressive what he did in his small sample, but I'm not 100% sold on it just yet is the problem.
And you just never know with the Rays. You just playing time. I don't know. Maybe that's an old take, but
yeah, he's DHing because Yandy is pretty much your first baseman. So there's a lot of platooning situations involved there.
Yeah. Yes.
Or I guess Yandy could play third too, but I'd rather not do that. All right, this is one that I'm not in love with because I'm always a big Jeremy Pena fan, and last year was awesome. 304, 17 homers, 20 steals. Yes, the batting average was a big bump from his 266, 263 world. So they haven't regressed back to 272, which I still like. 18 homers, 16 steals, hitting 110. But before his injury last season, this dude played 157 and 150 games. So what I'm telling you out there, listeners, that they projected 133 games, barring an injury, you can give him 20 more games, which gives him another, let's just say 80 plate appearances. you got another 2020 guy in your hands here if you can hit 272. So that's a pretty strong look.
It is, and I think, I mean, this is kind of your classic compiler. I don't think any kind of skill jumps off the page to me. Power uptick a little bit last year for Jeremy Pena, but that probably means it'll tick back a little bit down. But yeah, you look at like a 260, 270 guy who hits 2020 and masses a ton of plate appearances. That's great. You never know, is that next level going to come? You just never know. We just talked about Ramon Laureano doing it in age 31 season. Pena will be 29 next year. Never know if that next level is going to come, but at least you have the plate appearance. You know he's going to play every day to at least make that happen. And I don't want to say worst case, but your baseline of a 260, 270 guy going 2020 is pretty damn impressive for Jeremy Pena, who is going at gotta pay 95, 2 picks above mental health Michael Harris at outfield.
Yeah, give me Jeremy Pena all day between those.
What about shortstop wise? This is interesting. Projecting a fallback for Pena. Pena's going right after 2 major breakouts in 2025, Geraldo Perdomo and Trevor Story.
I'll take Pena
over those 2 guys.
Yeah, it's because I've seen him do it more often. That's where my risk is, my risk tolerance at that point in time.
Yeah, I might be with you because, well, yeah, I like old and boring, and
Pena's not old, but he's boring.
Yeah, and Perdomo is not boring, and Story is also not boring.
Yeah, I agreed.
And old.
Agreed. It was a lot nicer last year when Pena was going around like Dansby Swanson and company at like 160.
Yeah.
A lot better. Better area. All right. I'm going to skip Trent Grisham. I think we talked about him enough. Kyle Schwarber is dropping from 152 to 130. And in reality, he could go back to 152 if he hits for average again. I like this Bryce Terang conversation because I actually just wrote him up for a Patreon piece that'll hopefully drop on Friday. This Bryce Terang one's interesting. We know the breakout, 18 home runs, 24 steals, so reduction in steals. Power went through the roof. Plate discipline was the walks went up, strikeouts went up, but he also hit 288. So you saw power go up, you saw the batting average go up. All these things are great for a 124 WRC plus. The projections are interesting, Ryan. The power they respect at 14 homers. If he plays his 150 games, it's close to 18. 26 steals, so the steals are still in the ballpark. Like all that stuff kind of rates out. They haven't dropping down to a 260 average, so I think it's a fair conversation after what we saw last year. Like, does he resort back to what he was before? Does he stick at 288? That drops him down to a 105 WRC plus. That takes him down to basically a league average player. And this is a guy with an ADP of 62. I think it's a fair projection to see the drop off in average because he's only done it once. Like, could he do it again? Sure. There's no denying that because he made some massive changes at the plate. But if there is the kind of regression back to the mean, he turns into a league average player, and that's a lot different than an ADP of 62.
And I don't know what the stolen base floor, the built-in stolen base floor you have with Bryce Terang is, right? This is a guy who stole 50 2 years ago. Didn't even get half that in 2025. Only stole 24 bases.
Well, he was trotting more.
He was trotting more. He was walking more. He was getting on base more. So maybe it's that. But I don't know. It was thrown out 8 times too. Like not the most successful base stealer. So I don't know. This is if you just look at last year, you believe the power spike, right? It was 18 homers on 35 barrels for Bryce Terang. That certainly checks out. I don't think he's going to have another 356 BABIP. So yeah, I'm on board with the 260 batting average. The question with Bryce Terang is he going to hit 260 with 15 homers and 40 bags, which is a top, 2-3 round player, or is it going to be 260, 15, 25, which is still decent, but a little bit more at risk for what you're paying for Bryce Terang?
Yeah, he's a very, very difficult person for me to try to break down, like drafting wise. Like, do I take the chance? Because we talk about the second base position. It's like
so bad.
If he resorts back, like, okay, still good, but do you just take a chance on Mike McClain at like 200 picks later and see what happens?
Yeah, it's interesting. The at least currently, again, this is very early ADP, but the next second baseman after Terang at 62 is Jose Altuve at 124.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of like a game theory kind of scarcity play. It's like second base instantly sucks. I want to get someone who, was very good last season. So I don't know.
Yep, checks out. A couple more here. Geraldo Perdomo, who we were just talking about. Might as well talk about him here. We saw the breakout year, 20 homers, 27 steals, 98 runs, 100 RBIs. Like that stands out to me a ton as well, just the counting stats. Struck out 11.5% of the time by walking 13%. Insane. Hit 290. Like everything about Perdomo's season was great. Projections have him for 12 and 19, 55 runs, or 55 RBI, 77 runs, 270, 119 WRC plus, down from 138. Still very good. And if he goes back to playing 155 games, you're back to like a 17 homer, probably 27 steal guy again. It's just that decrease in batting average kind of takes away the counting stats, is what it seems like I'm getting out of this. Could be totally wrong. But a guy with the 119 WRC plus is still very strong. Like that's very strong. Yeah. And it kind of goes back to the conversation about Jeremy Pena. Like, projections are believing the changes that Perdomo makes? So I'm trying to say, like, they're on board with what took place there, and that's still a pretty darn good ball player.
Yeah, a little bit more than I thought the projection would, because again, the projection by design is looking back 3-ish years and taking this player as a whole and not, focusing on last season as much as probably analysts like you and me do. And again, that's a feature. That's not a bug. That's by design. So yeah, I'm a little bit surprised the projection is this good. Again, if you just look at the counting stats on the projection, Steamers only got 562 plate appearances for Perdomo, which, I mean, I guess would be the second highest of his career. So there is that. You don't need anyone to tell you that this was a dream season last year for Perdomo. I can't see him getting 720 more plate appearances. And, as the plate appearances drop even to like 600, everything else is going to fall down with it, especially if you look at the batting average. That's the interesting part, though, is it was just 11% strikeout rate for Perdomo last year. Hit the ball in play a ton and doubled his barrel rate up to 6%. Still below league average, but if you do that over 700 plate appearances, that's how you get to 20 home runs. Chris Towers was on my hitter spotlight panel at First Pitch Arizona, made a good point for how often Perdomo pulls the ball in the air, just kind of makes the power work. And that's certainly at play here for Perdomo too. So I don't know, man. I'm just kind of automatically probably not taking Perdomo just because I have this thing in my mind to not take someone off of a career year, especially when it was very much plate appearance driven. But surprised to see the projection this high, which probably means I still won't be drafting him because it'll keep the ADP pretty high, I think.
Yep. No, I'm with you. That's my thing is drafting after a career year. You and I don't do that. That's just not our styles at all. Like paying for the career year, I guess is what I should say. Just not it.
Although he is going right after Corey Seager, your guy.
Oh, I take Perdomo every day and twice on Sunday.
You take my grandma over Corey Seager.
I would take Michael Harris or Will Smith over Corey Seager. There you go. There's your answer on that one. Like if it's an F, Marry, kill, I think I'm killing in this story.
I think
I don't want to know. I don't want to go over the rest of it, but that's who I'm killing.
Yeah, that works.
All right. Anybody else you want to discuss here? I think we hit the main points on this list.
Yeah, no, you in true Bubba form, good hosting, hit the good ones, remove the boring ones, or the guys we've talked about a bunch. So no, I'm good.
Yeah, it's nice to start talking 2026. Nothing's perfect. That's why I wanted to keep banging the drum of like, you could try to project the playing time. This is the time to play with the playing time before Steamer figures it out and other projections come out and knock on wood, try to give you an edge. Like it's just a projected edge in your brain. Who knows what it really is? But if you're a true believer in these things, and run with it, because right now, like that Nick Kurtz one's embarrassing. There's a lot of these. Like Mookie Betts, if healthy, he's played way more than 130 games. Like there's just so many of these you can pencil in and use the rates or at least use Steamer 600 to give you a better idea of what's taking place. So go play with all that. All right, we've got a couple Discord questions for you this evening. We'll kick it off with after Ben and Bloom talk. Martin Sokolsky says, Aranda hit 14 home runs last season and 370 at bats, and his batted ball sliders data were blood red on Savant. Yeah. Why in the world does Steamer have a projection of just 16 home runs? In my opinion, if he gets 500 at bats, he's a 25 homer guy. Thoughts?
I agree. I wonder if a park factor is at play there. Maybe dinging Aranda too much for leaving Steinbrenner and going back to the Trop. But again, like I said, 4 homers at home last year, 10 on the road. I'm also taking the over on that projection, which again, it's only 440 plate appearances, so that does play. I probably should have put PAs on the Bloom board here just to give you some context. If Aranda gets to 600, that is more of like a 22, 23 home run season, which I think makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, that's why we kept saying, look at the playing times. Most of these are skewed. And then on the Aranda case, like these projections,
maybe it's right. I don't know.
The first ones that are spit out, like they're just going off of past history for the most part. He's not played that much. So it's hard to project him for 140 games. Now, we could all try to use our own reasoning and justify it, and might not be wrong, might be right. And maybe they tweak it on their updates is the point. Like maybe they put him up to 135 games or something, and all of a sudden he's hitting 24 bombs. Like, all very possible. This is first runs for us, first runs for them, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I just wish they wouldn't do it this way. Like it takes another day or two. They should have it figured out, you'd think, but that's just me. Mailman Mike says, which guys on the green list are the leading candidates for just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in? You're Michael Harris.
Yeah, I don't even need to answer that question.
I'll answer for you. Anybody else on the
Mookie
list?
Betts.
Yeah.
Although, like I said, Betts is kind of pricey, so I don't know. No, Michael Harris for me.
Mine's Matty McLean. I'm very, very interested at that price tag and what he can do. Good question. I like that.
And included the GIF right after it.
Yes, the GIF was great. Very well done. B. Welch says the red side seems like a lot of great to good regression. Who is further down the list? Guys who were contributors last year but now projected for WRC pluses under 100 or even under 90. I do not have that list in front of me.
I do not either. I probably should have read this before, so apologies. I will answer in the Discord. I'll throw it in the Discord. Yeah. I will do that. But no, I don't have it in front of me.
Canton Dog says, thoughts on Willie Adames in San Francisco improving in 2026, especially in batting average, while K percentage increased in 2020 or in 25, chase percentage and contact zone percentage improved in 25. I'm a full believer in Willie Adames. We talked about him on the shortstop review. The second half improvements, I think, as he got comfortable, ballpark really didn't affect him as much as many would have thought. He got 30 homers, first Giant to do it in forever. The average sucks. There's no denying that, but I don't think he's that bad. I think that can improve. BABIP was down tremendously. I'm a big believer in a pretty solid bounce back for Big Willie.
Nothing to add there. Canton Dog is one of our newer subscribers and I believe a big Georgia fan. Big one hosting Texas 4:30 on ABC on Saturday. Which I guess I can't watch.
So yeah, I said I won't be watching that, so enjoy.
Great.
Thanks, Ryan.
Fantastic.
I'll be at gymnastics.
I get to be a great gymnastics now?
No, I get to be a great dad these days because I have no excuse. It's easier to watch on my phone these days, just watching scores update in a game tracker. No, you think I do gymnastics? That's like old school stuff right there. Here comes Bubba tumbling literally through the mat. Adam W., who we met in FPAS, says, I had just drafted Mookie Betts at 4.8 and a 50. I'm not real likely to target him, but I thought the price was fair. Either of you optimistic for, well, that price is great.
Yeah, I think the price is fine. And I'm optimistic in the bounce back. I'd like to see a little bit cheaper price, but in the 50 to get him near the end of the fourth round, I think that's decent. Yeah, I like that.
All right. One more question here from last episode. Dave Petroziello says a question he struggled with the last few months, and Ben and I have had some back and forth in the Discord, is drafting a top relief pitcher like a Hader or pre-jail Class A. Is it the best way to compete for an overall? That's certainly not to say you can't if you do and hit on a guy like that, but might it be better to use that pick on a starter or a bat? In the same vein, how much do you say 65 innings of an elite ratios like Hader provided last year help you in the standings, especially in WHIP? You take early closers.
So, I mean, the context of Dave's question is in an overall, and trust me, I am not a overall competitor, but I do feel like in a contest like that where you're playing against thousands of different people, if you truly want to get an edge, I do think you need to wait on closer and try and hit on a Aroldis Chapman or whoever, Carlos Estevez, those types of guys. And again, this question was from last episode, which was our reliever episode. So I think if you're in like a standalone league, home league with your buddies, I think it's absolutely fine, especially if it's like a fab league. I've always subscribed to this. I always take one early and then one in the middle rounds. It's a little bit my style. I just don't want to mess with throwing money at closers and fab. It's just not a fun thing for me to think about on Sunday nights. So it's more of just a style type thing for me. Another thing to keep in mind is how active is your league. This came up in our Discord. There are leagues that can go dead in August, September, where you can fab like 3-4 closers and have 4 closers for 2 months. That, if you're staying on it and you think with your league tendencies you can do that, then yeah, wait on closers. Don't draft them that high because you can make up for it in the second half of the season. So there's a lot of different kind of contextual factors at play, but I do think if you're trying to compete for it, just like these big overall competitions, I think your money's better spent. The opportunity cost is so high in the early rounds. Go get your SP 1 or 2, go get a stud hitter and wait and try and hit on those middle round closers.
Yeah, it's a few things I've heard lately. Like at FPAS, Mike Mager talked about he would get like a good price reliever, but not go crazy. And then when he won the overall, like the second straight year, I believe, because he started fabbing, he got the Abreu when Hader went down. He got Bednar. He went fab crazy and picked up a ton of saves late, which is in those kind of auctioning deals, smaller formats. You can do those type of deals. You listen to James Tomini on either Deadpool Hitters or Roto Wires podcast. He talks about how he usually waits and he's won multiple overalls. So I think a lot of it goes back to what Ryan said and others. It's almost what are you comfortable doing when all things are said and done? Because in the end, you can get saves on the wire. You can draft saves early. We talked about it last episode. Most of the guys early didn't even get you 30 saves. So was it worth it?
But they did the previous 2 seasons.
They did, yes. And like you said, the Hader ratio is tremendous. Like that's great. There's no denying that. So it's the old adage, boring question, team builds. I usually try to get like one of the end of the first tier and like one in the middle tier, kind of what you do. We talked about that a lot last year. Like, give me Rysel and give me Kinley, stuff like that. Those are my targets. That worked out okay. All things said and done, doesn't always. So again, year by year basis. Usually an elite guy goes a long ways, but the opportunity cost, to Ryan's point, is tricky. It's the same question with catchers. Some guys love taking catchers. The more I hear guys talk about it, I'm actually starting to think catcher heavy works just if you're a plate appearance person. That's not what this show's about, but I just wanted to taking early relievers, taking early catchers kind of feel it's like the same context to me.
Always bring it back to catcher. Always.
Naturally, I have to. I have to be on brand. I had to write down a note for you today on my paper. And I'm talking catchers, so there you go.
What was the note? Oh, yeah.
What's the next season, or what's the next best season for a breakout in their 30s? Like, what's the season after the breakout in their 30s?
Yeah. The Ramon Laureano effect.
Yes. How did that work? All right, final thoughts as we dig into 2026.
Oh, man, fun episode. Envisioning you doing gymnastics, Googling whether Ozzie Smith is still alive. The typical rabbit holes we go down. Looking forward to the Gladiator on Tuesday, for sure.
Yep. Remember, different start time. We might even start a few minutes early just to set the tone because the draft does start at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. So we'll probably be logged in a few minutes early to get the party started. We usually go in about 5 minutes early, and we'll get the draft, the show going. So you guys can hop in, heckle us, ask questions, whatever you prefer. We'll have the draft board up for everybody to enjoy. Most of it, like all of it, is Discord, Patreon people, which is awesome. So we'll be back with you guys on Tuesday evening, right around 10. The draft starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Catch us then. But until next time, follow Ryan on Twitter at RyanBHQ, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, and on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom. I'm Matt B. Dientrich. This is Bubba the Bloom, episode 294. Catch y'all next time.